boy, alrighty. Welcome back. Hey, everyone. Thank you for downloading us, the Retro Gamers. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What's going on?
Not much, you know?
Same stuff, new
That's
day,
about
right?
all I got.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, pretty much. What could be different in the world of retro games? They've already been invented.
Honestly, we're gonna hit a wall one day.
You know what? I think there's enough content out there to safely say we will never hit that wall.
I sure hope so. So, but we're going to start this show as we tend to do lately every show. Just out of curiosity, Shining Force 2, how's it coming along? Have you played? I know life gets in the way, don't worry.
Yeah, I know. You know, I'm starting to slack a little bit. Life's getting a little busy.
Should I just start Castlevania 2 and just get that going?
Absolutely not. I'm determined. I will finish Shining Force 2. I did pick it up briefly at some point during the week to play one battle, and I got my ass kicked and shut it off. So.
There you go. Nice.
So, yeah, that's as far as I got this week. But I have a feeling that next week I will do much, much better.
Alrighty. We are looking forward to it.
So am I.
Yes, very much so. So, not a lot, but some stuff has happened over here on Long Island. Basically, yesterday, 24 hours ago, I was walking in to the Up Sky Hotel in Hop Hog, Long Island, New York, for the second annual Long Island Retro Video Game Expo. That almost rhymes. That does rhyme.
Wait. Did you just make up that location? What was the name of the town?
It's the Hop Hog, New York. It's Long Island.
Hop
Hog. You never heard of Hop Hog?
No.
I mean, I know we grew up in Brooklyn, but still.
Hop Hog, New York.
Hop Hog. Happaugh.
Oh yes, okay, now it rings a bell. It's just when you say it, it doesn't sound like a real. It sounds like it sounds like a fictional location.
All of Long Island sounds like a fictional location sometimes. Ronkonkoma, Massapequa, all these Indian names.
Sometimes I wonder if Long Island is actually fictional.
Yeah, you never know.
I've met some of the people there.
Yeah, some people now living here. So
that's true.
But this is the second year they actually did this expo, and it is just what it is. Basically, a lot. Long Island has. I don't know how. I know you got that one, and God help me if I ever remember the name of that video game store that's out in L.A.
Game Dude.
Thank you. I'll never remember it. But out here on Long Island, there's a bunch of little like retro game stores. If you want to call them trading posts or whatever. One of them's called the Video Game Trading Post. That was the one that was in that basement that one time. Last time you were out here. With the big wooden Indian?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't ever mention me and you going into a basement for anything.
Well, now they have a regular storefront, so it's okay.
Oh, that's good. They've upgraded.
Yes. So, and a lot of these places come out to this game. They did last year. They did yesterday. Bringing their merch and selling a lot of good games for pretty much every system. And also last year, I didn't see where it was this year, but to be fair, they were kind of, as the day went on, they kept opening more and more exhibits, so who knows, I may have missed it. But last year, they had on display a lot of cool, like, old systems, like remember the Panasonic Q, the GameCube Q? It was the hybrid GameCube DVD player. I have a picture of that from last year.
Wow, that's a nice little throwback.
Yeah, this year, and I looked all over the hotel, unless they took it out when I left. Supposedly they had the that prototype PlayStation Super Nintendo, the one that they were talking about before they went off. But I searched the whole place; I couldn't find a damn thing on it. But that was the only.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was looking forward to that I didn't see there. Everything else, though, as far as museum, quote unquote, I saw from last year or I've owned, and I'm sure you've owned as well. Show to the Virtual Boy, which we'll get into in a moment. But
yes.
Beyond that, I saw a lot of games. It was just every turn you made, it was just going down nostalgia row, and it just brought back just flooding memories of just playing these games that I wish I was still able to do today.
Well, I mean, the coolest thing about those, and granted, they don't. I haven't seen any here on the West Coast yet. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're just waiting for me to start one.
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't think my library is fast enough to do it, but who knows? I was like, but yeah, I mean, just the whole concept of having an entire convention just focused on retro gaming. It's really awesome. But here's a good question. Since it was a retro gaming expo, where did the retro games stop in terms of like systems?
I saw Xbox. There was some people who sold a handful of used, like maybe like Wii or Xbox 360, but that was so small. I'm not even going to count it really. So I would say probably up to Dreamcast. I saw. I'm trying to think what. Yeah, PS2, Dreamcast. I would probably say Dreamcast.
Okay, fair enough.
So
PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast is about where the line is drawn.
As far as heavy-duty games out there, yes.
Right.
Like I said, some people may have sold some other things now and again, and like the handhelds, I mean, yeah, that went all the way up to DS and 3DS and stuff. But yeah, and there was some wild stuff that we'll get into here in a few moments, stuff that I saw. But I want to kick off, which I really didn't take any pictures of because it doesn't matter, but the idea behind it is interesting. Homebrewed games. There was a couple of tables there, just strictly homebrewed. Actually, I think I have. It's in the a cheap plug on my end. If you go to my YouTube page, More365, MOHR365, I linked it to the Retro Gamers podcast Facebook page. At one point in the video, there's some Genesis games, Genesis carts, all red. They're face up. And one of them was Fix-It Felix Jr., which clearly never came out on Genesis.
Wow.
But it was with other regular games like Turtles and, I don't have the video in front of me, some other stuff. But the way the carts looked, they had like some wear and tear to the edge of the stickers. So either this game came out a long time ago and Disney never told us about it, or this guy really fine-tooth combed how these homebrewed retro carts look.
Well, I mean, there are people out there who do, coding and design retro games, so it's completely plausible that somebody would go out there and make something like that.
There have been some, just online, you can see some of the some homebrewed games that look ridiculous. Between Super Mario Brothers, I saw a Legend of Zelda one, and of course, multitude of others. There's even one online. I don't know if you ever played Super Mario Crossover. It's a Flash game.
No.
It's basically like Super Mario Brothers, but you can play like almost any 8-bit character and use their weaponry in Super Mario Brothers. It's pretty interesting.
That's very cool.
I'm trying to find that. I'm not going to find the video. All right. So, but yeah, just go to my YouTube page or just check it through the Retro Gamers, and you'll be able to see that.
If you can get through all of his porn on YouTube pages first,
before you get allowed to do that. Actually, it's mostly the podcast. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to take your word on that.
Though for ratings for my other podcasts, I may have to turn into that. I don't know. So I took some photos, which you can also
comment there.
Which you can also find photos that I took at the Retro Gamer Podcast, or again at my Instagram, More365. Just looking at just look at some of the games here. Double Dragon. This is all for Nintendo. Battletoads. Some of the quality, and they look like good cartridges. Arkanoid, Donkey Kong Classic, Zelda, looks like Majora's Mask, Shadowgate. I think that's Shadowgate up there. If you're looking at the same picture I'm looking at.
Is it Shadowgate or Shadowrun?
It's one or the other.
Which one are you?
The one right above, the one right next to the Super Nintendo cart, right next to Arkanoid. That first one.
That's a good question.
I think that's Shadow. I feel like it's Shadowgate. But
might be. I know there was a game Shadowrun because I own it for Super Nintendo. It was like an RPG. It's actually pretty damn good.
Is that the hybrid RPG and no, that's Asterix.
No. It was an interesting little game where it was like it took place in the future, and you were like, you literally wake up in a morgue and you don't know how you got there, so you're trying to figure out what's going on. Little Jason Bourne-esque.
Okay. Ready.
But then you're just. I never really got through the whole game. I only played like the first like hour or two of it. But there's a lot of shooting things. It's got a little bit of a film noir kind of mystery involved to it, trying to figure things out. But it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
I should go back and play that.
Why not? That'll be nice. That's after I'm done with Castlevania 2 in the year like 2018.
Yeah, pretty much.
Some games I didn't even know came out on Nintendo. I don't remember Knight Rider on the NES.
Oh yeah. I never played it. Don't get me wrong, but I knew it existed.
Yeah, and then games like like right underneath it says Target Renegade. Then you got classics: Super Mario Brothers 2, 3, Gyromite, Rolling Thunder. They and you know what? If I remembered who it was, I think they were called Game On. #Game On, I think is the name of the company. It's where I bought, which we'll get into in a little bit, what I ended up purchasing. They had, dare I say, a near mint condition, or looked to me, a near mint condition, Legend of Zelda NES in box. $150. And I'm telling you, it was worth every penny. I did not buy it, but it was worth every penny of the $150. And literally, these are just, like, I don't know, like 8-foot tables they have set up. So they kind of like made like a square around. Yep. I literally did one lap around their table, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Come back, Zelda already sold.
Gone.
And the place just opened.
Well, I mean, those are the types of collector's items where if somebody is actually collecting, like you don't want to pass that up. It was so rare.
Oh, it's so funny how fast it went. Like I come back around and I'm like, oh, what, do you guys just put it on the side so no one steals it? They're like, no, someone already bought it. I was like,
yeah, well, I'm fairly confident though that things that didn't get sold that quickly, everybody must have had a Virtual Boy for sale.
Oh, hey, listen, there was one for sale, not for nothing. And it looked like in good condition. It looks better than the condition mine's in, which is in a dump somewhere in Staten Island.
As I say, did you buy it as a backup in case your other one ever breaks down?
Other one's already broke. No, I did not. I did not buy any systems. Though, on a side note, I may be able to get my hands on an NES, but I don't think my wallet will be able to handle it. My cousin has an NES, still working. And
buy it. I still think it's an affront to our entire podcast that you don't own the original Nintendo.
But that works. It's retro versus virtual console. I'm gonna get a mini NES later in the year.
Well, yeah, I know you're gonna get that. But you're just gonna get the 30 games that come with it. You need an actual NES.
But I can't afford to buy all the games. I don't even care if they're $5 a pop. And the games I bought were not $5 a pop.
Maybe we'll raise a Kickstarter for you, and we'll be like, please help this sad little boy own an NES again.
I do have a GoFundMe somewhere. If I can find the link, I'll let you know.
God.
Not for my birthday though. I didn't do it for my birthday. I did it for my show.
When are you turning? 13?
13 going on 42. It feels like. Let me ask you a question in all seriousness. When you do go like to these, if it was an expo or flea market or anything like that, or even Game Dude, whatever it's called,
yep.
Do you get a little apprehensive? See, I would get apprehensive buying a retro game if it doesn't get tested right then and there.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, Game Dude, at least when you buy the game, they promise that they're already tested.
Well, that's good, because that's an actual storefront, so I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, if you're going to go and buy a retro game, if you're not buying it for the sake of, like, displaying it in some way, shape, or form, then you need to have your systems out to test them when you get home. Because if they don't work, you got to bring them back. Now, granted, when you go into a convention, you're just, running the risk of buying something that may or may not work. It's a little. I feel like it's a little bit more feasible when buying cartridges, because cartridges, I think, all in all, I mean, it's hard for them to break. I mean, you just have to look at the. You really just have to look at the pin, the card, the little slot underneath, just to make sure it's not chipped or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas, with a disc, like a PlayStation disc or something like that, it's like the scratches on them could, even though, if you look at the scratches on them, it could indicate they're going to work, even though it's scratched. Other times it may not work like halfway through the game. I remember when I bought or rebought, I think, at one point in time, Final Fantasy VII, because I think something happened with one of my discs. So I bought another one, and halfway through playing a disc, it froze.
Ooh.
And that was it because there was something wrong with the disc. So sometimes you just don't know. But I feel like cartridges are a lot more reliable when you check them.
See, it's funny you say that. I feel the other way around because CDs, you can actually flip it over, you can take a look at it. Yes, the cartridges, I know what you're talking about with the with the pins and everything like that. But even I've had even originally speaking, eventually over time, I had cartridges that just one or another just kind of stopped working. You can blow them all you want. It just wasn't working. Not that blowing it to cartridges later on proved to do nothing. But
I disagree.
Okay, fair enough.
Do not wreck my childhood that way. I spent many an hour blowing into cartridges to get to the work.
It was just proven like a year ago. Don't worry, we're all still good. We'll scratch that. We'll edit that in post.
Yeah, I know. I credit my partial brain damage to that.
Yeah, honestly, right? That's all of us. Don't worry. So, but yeah, there was a lot of systems. There was, as you see there's in some of the pictures there, a Game & Watch, Octopus Game & Watch.
Yes, when I saw that, like my brain just exploded. I was like, "Holy crap! I remember that." I don't remember the game Octopus, of course, but I remember the Game & Watch.
And that was actually, it was like one of the few Game & Watches. Last year, there was a lot of Game & Watches. This one, not so much. And if that sticker price is correct, I think it was $60.
Yeah. The one that I will say, though, the one thing that popped out on the video when I was watching it that you put together was the Vectrex image or the video that you took. Because Vectrex was such a small, I think relatively, I'm not going to say it was an unknown system, but it wasn't exactly a popular system.
No, you're right. But, certainly not popular. And it was all, like the name says, the vector graphics.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember because one of my friends in grammar school had the Vectrex. So
really?
when I would go over her house, I think it was her brother's. I think it was her little brother's. But when I would go over her house, I would always play it. And there was a game on it called Clean Sweep. And it was like a Pac-Man game.
Okay.
The only difference is you were a vacuum.
All right.
You were a vacuum in a maze, and the object was to suck up all the dollar bills that were in the maze, which is kind of like Pac-Man with pellets.
Yeah.
But you could only suck up so many before the vacuum got filled.
Yeah.
And then you had to deposit the money into a vault in the center of the screen.
Yeah.
In order to suck up more money, and then while that's going on, there are robbers in the game. And they're trying to catch you.
Sounds convoluted for a Vectrex game.
So they can steal the money. Yeah, I know. You know what? When you listen to that game almost has the making of an actual movie.
Yeah, and the name sounded. Oh, I thought that was the name of the game that was in the Vectrex when I was looking at it, but it wasn't. It was Spinball or something like that.
Okay.
But,
Clean Sweep was the only one I remember playing, and I just remember really enjoying it.
The Vectrex was there. You had your Ataris, your Genesis, Super Nintendos, even an Atari. Oh God, what is that? Not even a 2400, the one with the keyboard. I think it was even before that. That was
400?
Yeah, that was back against a wall. I couldn't get to it close to really take a look at it. But the Vectrex is pretty funny. When I was filming, when I first got there, I got the early bird ticket, got it, doors open an hour before for everybody else. Not a lot of people with the early bird ticket, which I was kind of shocked about. But anyway, so I get in there, and my plan was just to run around a couple times, film, take pictures, then, just go around and start purchasing. So I go to the Vectrex, it's playing whatever game it was, and then all of a sudden, the guy, reached over and turned it off. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he doesn't want me to film or anything. And the other guy's like, oh, it disappeared. The other guy...
Wow.
The guy, I think, didn't want me to film or something like that, but then he just kind of came around and was like, oh, okay, hold on. Started flipping the switches. It's not that he turned it off. The thing, I think, stopped working. And he was trying to almost wiggle the machine to get it to start working again.
Wow.
And I'm like, I thought maybe he didn't want me to film.
I feel bad if somebody bought that.
So it was because the guy's like, oh, you turned it off. It's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, oh, then you may have a defective system. That was the only problem I saw as far as systems working.
Wow. That's awesome.
Speaking of systems, I don't know if you saw the pictures as well. There were some custom painted systems.
I saw those, and they look really, really cool. The NES painted as Mario looked sweet.
Oh yeah, and that Game Boy with Leonardo on it.
Yep,
that looked awesome.
Did you buy it?
No. I didn't buy any systems. I brought like $100 with me. So I went through it, but those would have been much more. Of course you did. The Sonic was pretty sweet. The Super Mario Brothers NES was absolutely awesome. And another funny thing about those pictures, I put them up on my Instagram. Didn't know who it was. So I'm like, someone did it. I apologize. I don't remember your name. And I woke up this morning and the guy messaged me. He was like, yeah, that was me. So I had to go back and give credit where credit is due.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, at least he found it.
Yes, and I was hoping he would. So it worked out pretty well.
Very cool.
And then, there was some other, Genesis-wise, had some cool stuff. Shining Force. Caught that $30 for a Shining Force game on Genesis. That was pretty. Actually, I think it'd be reasonably priced for that one.
I was gonna say it's getting up there. I still have my original Shining Force in the packaging.
Oh wow, nice.
Not sealed, but I have the actual hard case.
Because that's when Genesis used to do that. Yeah, eventually they did away with those, but having those hard cases were very convenient.
I loved those hard cases. They were awesome.
Oh,
it was like renting a video.
It really was. Captain America and the Avengers saw that. Mortal Kombat on Genesis, which is awesome because that had the blood as opposed to Super Nintendo. And of course, a game that I owned, I even have on the Retro console now, and a game I quite enjoyed, Booger Man, a pick and flick adventure. Did you ever play that game?
No, just based on the title, I never wanted to play it.
Oh, it was fantastic. I think it came out right after Earthworm Jim or something like that.
All right, but at least Earthworm Jim was about the adventures of a worm. I mean, it's called Booger Man.
Yes, he'd run around, Booger! Oh, it was hysterical. I love it. Game's awesome.
Yeah, no thanks.
And then going way back, I don't know if you saw the Atari games. Oh, not even
the
Atari
games are the pictures that. Yeah, those are the ones I actually enjoyed the most because you captured stuff in their original packaging.
Yes.
I'm looking at these and I remember them, which is awesome.
There was a lot more original packaging I saw this year than last year. War Games. War Games
based off the movie.
Yep. Yeah. Donkey Kong Jr., Omega Race, just looking at some of them here. Blackjack, poker, those types of games.
Spider-Man.
I remember playing that.
I still have Spider-Man somewhere, but what I love is the artwork on the cover because, Yeah,
I don't remember the artwork being so good on it. Well, I was also maybe like
the artwork was good, but I think the thing to notice on that one that's interesting is that if you look at who made the game, it was Parker Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Who's known for making board games, obviously, but, at one point they were trying to get into the video game business too, and they had the license to Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, and trust me, that artwork is a whole lot better than the graphics in the game. I mean, it's an Atari, so we'll be okay with that. But that was always
one other thing to point out, not to cut you off, but if you read the bottom of the box, also you can see it wasn't just for Atari; it was for Atari and Sears video game systems. Sears, the actual department store had a video game system.
Oh, Atari, ColecoVision, they were like, if you just knew how to solder, you were able to make your own system and sell it. That took Atari games and stuff like that. I mean, look at the War Games box. ColecoVision and Atom Family Computer Systems.
Yep. Oh, Atom.
And then back then they really did the box art. Even the cartridge art. Look at Space Invaders. The art looks so much better than the game itself, but again, it's an Atari 5200, so.
Well, and you got to remember, it's like the whole point of these games back then, you couldn't go online and review them or anything like that. So part of the appeal was the actual artwork. So they had to make sure the artwork looked really awesome, so you would buy the game.
Mousetrap, 2010, Space Odyssey. I don't remember that. I mean, again, it was such a long time ago. So, but that was fun about there, just walking in there and looking through. And it wasn't just games and systems. There was a lot of artwork that a lot of it just blew my mind. A lot of 8-bit artwork, some of which I have. And one place I want to point out, well, a couple places. First of all, Canvas Quest, which is one of the pictures there. Pretty much all they are is just box art, like literally the box art, silk screen or whatever you do onto canvas. It looks amazing. So if you have like a box like that Legend of Zelda on Super Nintendo, Yeah, I got to go to that. I may have that guy's website. Well, I just said it, Canvas Quest, so probably just Google him.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's kind of
they
straightforward,
had
isn't it?
A giant, which I think I took a picture separately. I'll have to send it to you later. Oh, no, you saw it, the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I want that because I have, as part of my collection, I have the Friday the 13th Jason figure that was made, the video game Jason figure that was made for Comic-Con a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
I have that. And I have the kudos to Rich DePinto for getting this for me. The Friday the 13th NES game in box.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so like I want that canvas so I can just add it to my little collection and put it on my wall and have my little sad corner for it.
I'm texting you right now the Friday the 13th that I saw. You know what my problem was? Because I was trying to get a hold of you. Being in that little banquet room in the hotel, I got zero reception, so... But be better off because you
That's
just have
okay.
it shipped to you anyway.
I forgive you.
Yeah, so I just texted that to you. Check that out. There was another in the pictures there with that little collage that I did. There was some paint artwork, 8-bit, sort of like, or even 16-bit. There was a Ganon Game Over. It's a pretty cool alien that some guy did some stuff from Mega Man. And, of course, on the other side, the Contra painted. It painted pretty much the Contra start screen. Contra.
Yep.
Player 1, player 2.
Which everybody knows. It's very iconic.
Of course. And the big shout out I want to do is for the Pixel Art Shop. I've gotten a lot of stuff from them. Gentleman's name is Kyle McCoy. He does a lot with these called perler beads. They are what they sound. Just little beads. He fuses together. He makes amazing 8-bit artwork. Even a shadow box I got with Back to the Future. But basically, I got Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Little Mac, punching Mike Tyson in the belly.
Nice.
That grimace. Which will then... and find him on Facebook, Pixel Art Shop. I definitely, his work I love the best. So Kyle McCoy, definitely kudos to him. I said hi to him. I think he was just being nice. I don't think he knew who I was.
No, he probably thought you were just another creep.
Probably. And with that, as far as what I ended up walking out with is... And I know you tried... I asked you what games, because there was 2 games you were looking for. And I tried to find them, and no one had them.
Which Tecmo, I find really strange, because one of them I thought would be a little more common than the other. But
Tecmo,
Tecmo's Deception for PlayStation 1,
which I looked around, couldn't find anywhere. Now the other one, which is
Nightmare on Elm Street for NES.
Yep, I asked everyone for those, and it's funny. I got most of the same answer for Nightmare on Elm Street. Everyone said if I had a copy, I would have it. Meaning the guy selling the games.
Wow, which I find very strange, because I didn't think that was going to be one of those rarities. And to be honest with you, I don't know where mine went, because I never got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I have 2 copies of Friday the 13th because I got the boxed one. But I never got rid of my Nightmare on Elm Street NES game. So the fact that it's missing is actually really bothering me.
And I looked all around, and like I said, I thought I saw it end up being... There was a ton of Friday the 13th, but no Nightmares.
Yeah, that one's a little more common.
Yeah. Now, speaking of common, one more before I get to what I bought. I kind of caught it at the tail end. Someone was selling the Atari adult-only games, the porno games.
Of course they were.
Those are the ones in those leather pouches, the Mystique, the red and the orange. $60 each they were. I thought...
Do you know which ones they were?
I opened up the red one because it started getting crowded around the table. The only one I'm really familiar with is the who's the guy who got scalped in history? What's his name? Custard, General Custard. That's the only game that I've never owned it, never played it, but I'm familiar with that one, where pretty much you go and you have your way with the Indian ladies while getting fired on by arrows. So it was quite the adult-only game. This one I think was more just general. It may have been even strip poker or something like that.
Oh yes, I remember the strip poker one. Which is the one that I remember that I played, and it wasn't really that adult, but it was adult enough. Was your namesake Leisure Suit Larry?
Leisure Suit Larry. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, I can barely say it once.
And it's funny because right next to the the porno games is the horrible 3DO game Plumbers. Was it Plumbers Don't Wear Ties or whatever that was?
Oh, good God.
So that was that there. Yeah, overall, very, very cool as far as the games. And but here's what I ended up walking out with. Doing that laps 4 or 5 times. People probably thought I was nuts. Kept going back to the tables, looking. 6 games. 6. Ended up buying 6 games, 5 for me. The one real quick, because I bought Silent Service in box for the NES. I remember me and my dad used to play that all the time. So it's funny. I told him I bought the game. I was, have him display it. And he goes, "Oh, good, I can play it." I'm like, "Nope, not on the computer."
Wow.
I can get you a Nintendo, but.
Hey, you know what? This may be your way to get a Nintendo. Just tell your dad to buy it for you, and then all of a sudden you're 6 years old again.
There you go, just like that. So Silent Service was pretty cool. In-box Spy Hunter, probably one of the best arcade games on the Nintendo Entertainment System, probably next to Turtles 2.
I used to love that game.
Oh, yeah, and it's where we all learned the Peter Gunn theme. So.
Yeah, very true.
Yep. That's in-box, no manual, but that's okay. Then... when I picked up, and I saw that Pixel Art Shop was selling the Mike Tyson artwork, so I knew I wanted to walk out with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and I did find it for a reasonable price, $30 for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out in that condition. Not bad at all, because I've seen it for a lot more money.
Nice. I think that was the very first game I ever beat.
Punch-Out? Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
If it wasn't Super Mario, it was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I can't remember.
Mine was definitely Contra. I remember finally getting to the heart and taking care of it. Now, the game that I went to this show to specifically find was Pro Wrestling for Nintendo. And It's a very common game. God help me, I went to every table and I could not find it. Because everyone said the same thing as well. Oh, it's a very common game. I did not bring it with me. If it's common, why are you not bringing it with you to sell?
Because it's so common, they never sell it.
Yeah. Eventually, I found the table. I found the only table in this place that took cash and still charged tax. So,
wow.
Yeah. But finally found Pro Wrestling. Got a really... Actually, they had a couple.
How much did it cost for the very common game?
After tax, $7.32, I think.
Yep, so, that's common.
They had a couple of cartridges. One was, had someone's name on it, as most of us did back in the day. Just wrote our name on the cartridges when we lent them out to people. So, but I found a clean one, which looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of aging on it, but not on the sticker. Sticker looks pretty good. When I was looking for pro wrestling, though, someone mentioned WrestleMania, the original NES game. Yep. As much as it wasn't a fun game, that definitely has a good backstory to it that you'll actually hear next week. About
the WrestleMania game, you didn't have that?
No. I owned it, but I didn't have it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how much was that one?
Oh, $10.
Okay, that's
yeah, it wasn't too bad. The most expensive game I bought was Punch-Out. And again, I was at 30, so.
And that's not bad.
No, honestly, for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, because I saw a lot of Punch-Out.
Right.
Later on, someone did have Mike Tyson's Punch-Out in box for like $75 or something. He's going to sell it to me for like $60, but I already bought the cartridge. And the way I have it displayed with the artwork anyway, better off being the cartridge than the box anyway. So that worked out pretty fine.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then and then I ended up walking out with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. Not Turtles 2, the arcade game, the original Ninja Turtles 2.
Right, the harder, crappier one.
Yes, the very, very frustrating with that horrible underwater frustrating level. Originally, it was Batman. Sunsoft's Batman from the movie.
Right.
Bought it. Sweet. It was like $13. That was with everything else. Walking away, I made the cardinal mistake of shopping at one of these things to not really stop, take a moment, and look at the cartridge because like half the sticker was ripped off of it. So I'm like, I don't want that.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah, that was shame on me. So, and I wasn't going to go through the hassle of doing a refund and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? equal value, traded out, saw Turtles. It's got a cool cover on it. I'm a fan of the Turtles. Maybe not as much the game, but the group. So I switch it out, and when I switch it out, the guy even told me, because I'm like, hey, listen, I don't want to be a jerk, but is there any chance I can swap this? There's a tear on the sticker, and the guy goes, when you were buying it, I was going to tell you, a heads up about the tear, but he's like, who am I to tell someone if they're trying to collect a game or play it? I was like, next time, tell them that there may be a defect like that on the cartridge, especially the way you guys are putting it in plastic and preserving it and everything. So, but yeah, those are my pickups: Silent Service, Spy Hunter, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, WrestleMania, Pro Wrestling, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think I made out pretty good.
As I say, it sounds like you had a nice haul, so I would call that a successful convention.
Yeah, totally, and just all the stuff.
With one exception, of course,
which is
you didn't buy any Virtual Boy games.
What's
didn't we just talk like last week about movie games and how you did not have Waterworld for Virtual Boy? I don't know why you didn't look for that.
You know what? I saw the Virtual Boy. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see Virtual Boy games. So a Game Boy game, so a lot of those.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're ultra rare since nobody ever bought them.
I wouldn't say ultra rare.
Maybe they wound up in a landfill next to the ET cartridges.
I saw Mega Drive games. I saw...
Wow.
What else did I see here? Pretty much everything else under the sun. But, Dance Dance Revolution I saw here. Let me just go through some of the ones I kind of...
Oh, God, I have that somewhere.
Yeah. Bust the Groove.
I have both of them.
I remember you playing that. It was $50 they wanted for Bust a Groove.
For the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about the second one? I didn't see the second one, the US version was so rare. I think it's like $100 or $150.
Wow.
I don't even have that one. I actually have the Japanese import of the second one.
I think I remember that, yes. Well, I remember you had the game. I think I remember
the Japanese import. My sister and her friend loved playing that. So did I, but,
Time Crisis, Final Fantasy games is all on PlayStation. What else did I see there? The
Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross, that whole series, if you will. WrestleMania.
Which I actually just purchased that.
Oh, did you?
At Game Dude.
Oh, there you
go. Because it was one of those games where I finally finished Chrono Trigger on SNES like last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody told me what a great game it was, so I had to play it, and there was no question about it. It was an amazing game. So now I picked up Chrono Cross because I want to play that. I also heard it was great. So.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely heard good things about it. Star Wars Pod Racer. What else did I see? WrestleMania 2000. God. No Mercy, but WrestleMania 2000.
I have 2 copies of No Mercy, I think.
Battletoads for Super Nintendo, which I never played but wanted to.
The hardest game ever.
The Super Nintendo or the regular Nintendo?
I don't know. Maybe
regular Nintendo was tough.
No, I think I don't remember which one was the hardest, but it was definitely hard.
And they had a few of those out there, a lot of Battletoads.
A lot of frustrated kids threw that one out.
Oh my God, forget about it. DuckTales. On Genesis, apparently there was I think there was a DuckTales game on Genesis, which I don't remember. I think that's DuckTales.
Yeah, that rings a bell, but it wasn't... it wasn't, whatchamacallit. It wasn't as popular as the NES one.
It's not focused on it, all right. Power Rangers for Genesis.
I don't have the Genesis one. I have the Super
Nintendo. Oh, no? Moonwalker.
Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Here's one of those mystique porno
God,
games.
I remember playing that. I had that game.
I was just saying, I couldn't find that General Cluster porno game, and here it is in one of my pictures. Didn't even notice it. In box, too. Son of a gun. Custer's
Revenge. Why didn't you buy it?
Because I don't remember. Because I must have just breezed right through it. Wow.
Yeah. See, you need to spend. You should have spent a little bit more time looking at things.
Honestly, I did. I was just unfortunately all through the viewfinder. Maniac Mansion.
I love
like
that
a big
game.
giant box version of it.
I would have bought that. I would have bought that game in its box because that game was one of my favorite games to play.
Check out that Dr. Doom's Revenge. It's in the back there.
Oh.
You see that?
Don't know that one.
That may have been on, I can't tell what. Oh, you know what it may have been? I think it was, remember those make your own comic book at home or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Super Punch-Out, Donkey Kong 64. I mean, again, I can go on and on. All the Pokemon. Now that's...
Wow, you've been going on and on.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, Strawberry Shortcake. for Atari.
Oh God.
I actually owned it. Yeah, I know. All right, so with that, we're going to start to wrap everything up. Ant, you should get to one of these things soon.
Yeah, trust me, I plan on getting to them. But for now, I'll just have to live vicariously through you, which is very sad to say.
You got it. So with that, me and Ant, we're going to say goodbye. We'll talk to you next week. And, week after that and week after that. Catch you later, everybody.